Kate, thanks for joining me here on the floor of the MedTech conference in Toronto.
It's fun to be here.
It's good to have you. So Flex, you're leading Flex, the health division, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you've been there for how long now?
About 9 months.
Yeah. And you made the crossover, and I'm seeing this a little more often, from the OEM side and the big strategic, so BD, J&J, and even Alcon.
Correct.
Right, so what was it attracted you to come to the dark side?
I don't know if it's the dark side, but what attracted me is really the breadth. So, I loved what I did in the OEM world where I was running a category. But what I love about this role is it's truly healthcare. So look, my business, 60% of it's med device, 30% is medical equipment, about 10% is drug delivery. So I get to touch all aspects of healthcare, and that's truly rewarding. When you think about being in healthcare and wanting to make a difference that matters, I feel like I can touch it in a lot of different ways. So that was the excitement for me.
And an organization like Flex, it's interesting because previously your customer was either the provider or the patient,
Yep.
and they were next to each other. But now you would share something with me, we were chatting before we went on, that you enjoy this role with Flex as a trusted advisor.
Correct.
In so many areas of core competency and expertise that Flex has. So expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, look, Flex, our foundation, we're an EMS company. But we also have products and value-added services. And so what I'm loving about this, and I talked about the breadth, we can get involved very early on when a customer is thinking about, for example, bringing a new product to market. And we can start talking to them about how might we support you in designing that product? How might we support you in manufacturing that product? And are you thinking about it from a sustainability perspective, circular economy? We can, at the very early stage, from that trusted advisor status, we can start to strategize with that customer on decisions to make now, so 3 to 5 years later, they're able to execute on those broader end-to-end value for their ultimate customers. So that's something that's been really fun for me to get involved in, and I think what I'm hearing from our customers, it's much more of an interest because our customers are looking for ways to be more efficient and effective, and if they do the same thing they always have and they expect a different result, it won't happen. So now they're coming to companies like mine where we can actually offer that advisor status and help them execute what they want to be.
The contract manufacturing world is really interesting. I have my observations over the last 5 to 10 years. Historically, most of the innovation, if you just compared it to the OEM and the CDMO world, most of the innovation happened in the OEM and then just got outsourced as a square footage, cost, sort of off manufacturing balance sheet to a partner. But now the innovation actually, because technology has been pushed so far with materials, with processes, when I think of catheters, whether it's neuro, cardio, peripheral, you're talking about making materials do special things with special processes.
Yep.
And those are now taking place in the CDMOs, no longer in the big strategics.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And look, one of the things that Flex does better than many OEMs, if not all, is that all we do is manufacturing. And so when you think about the ways to really optimize a process using automation, using tools like digital twin to help envision what a manufacturing line will look like, and then ultimately executing, that's something I never saw when I was in the OEM world. We did not have that capability when I was there. And so now we look for ways to add value, and our customers are coming to us to really help them do just that.
Yeah, and that's going back to that trusted advisor status, being a headhunter for 35 years and 9,000 successful assignments and a good percentage in contract manufacturing, back in the day, contract manufacturing, you never really thought, and I'm going back 15 years or so, you never really thought the elite engineers being there. I am now watching elite engineers from a career perspective come right out of the gate and go to a CDMO because the product mix, the unique processes, the unique materials, and the real differentials are happening in the manufacturing process, supply chain, quality world, not as much in the hardcore design anymore. So are you finding the talent, the richness of the talent in the CDMO to be surprising to you?
I probably had the similar viewpoint that you did coming in, but I've been incredibly impressed with the quality of our talent. And look, we have a design organization, so we partner with our customers to, sometimes completely we design something for them, other times we partner with them. But bringing on those engineers who can really envision what the future looks like, true front-end innovation, like that's something we get involved in quite a bit. And the other fun thing is, like sometimes some of these startup companies who might need some additional expertise, they come to us to partner with us, and they're companies that we worked with 5-7 years ago that are now large companies, but they were just kind of starting out, and we were there to kind of help them in providing some of that support that they needed. But I agree, the talent that I've seen in our team, whether it be on the design or whether it be on the actual manufacturing floor, we have a whole automation unit within our company, and there's some amazing automation and robotic engineers that can help companies really envision what they need to be successful that maybe they weren't thinking about before.
Yeah, you're probably the leading edge on a lot of manufacturing process automation, sort of next gen, because your margins count on that.
Yes, yes they do. They're very different margins from the OEM world.
Yeah, so you mentioned these emerging companies.
Mm-hmm.
The rate of change right now in medtech is, the acceleration is crazy. Again, I've been at it 34 years, I think you've been at it similar. And just the rate right now of that tech acceleration is meaning that more of this innovation is happening on the fringe in the emerging tech startups. And they need unique skills, whether it's robotics, manufacturing, materials process. Is Flex an approachable juggernaut of a multi-billion-dollar business for a 3-person startup to knock on the door?
I think I would say it depends, but generally speaking, look, we have the vast majority of our business is with larger companies because we have a lot of recurring business. But we also have, 10-15% of our business is in these smaller players because look, we want to be your partner all throughout your journey. And so whether you're just starting up and you just need some guidance and support, we can help you. But obviously it's about identifying what those needs are and then how we could best support and if that's something that's viable for that particular startup with their funding, et cetera.
I've also heard of a conversation out of Flex, network optimization.
Yes.
And I was fascinated beforehand, we were sitting with your squad here, your team, and it's really an intentional, intimate partnering.
Yes.
With organizations that are trying to make decisions or coming to the conclusion that they're not always the best at everything anymore.
Yes.
So let's unpack that for me, that network optimization.
Yeah, it's something that's somewhat new for us and really a very strategic focus because one of the things I've learned coming from the OEM world now to here is that you try to, obviously we're all trying to get back to pre-COVID margins, and OEM companies will do all they can to try to reduce costs, improve their margins. But at some point, many of them are realizing what I'm doing, it's not achieving ultimately where I need to be. So definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, like it doesn't work. So how might Flex, how might a contract manufacturing and design organization help? And that's where network optimization comes in. So look, sometimes, companies, let's just pick like the medical equipment industry. That's been pretty challenging over the last handful of years. Tons of money went into medical equipment during COVID, overbuilding occurred. And now, it's really challenging to make some of those margins when costs have gone up significantly in some of the components that go in. So oftentimes they'll come to us and they'll say, how might you transform our operations? So in some cases, we've been brought in to take over their plan and manage them in place. So our people in their facilities. Other times, I had one very recently who came to us, it was a different opportunity for them, but they had so much demand, they couldn't keep up with it. They came to us and they said, can you actually build us a standalone facility just to manufacture for us so that we can continue to meet the needs of our ultimate customers? And then the third one we do is more of a lift and shift where they might want to say, you know what, I don't want the capital on my books anymore. Flex, can you take over this plant? And then it's just a lift and shift for us. But those are very strategic conversations, that trustor advisor status that we talked about. Those are conversations that start with the C-suite. And that's why we like to get involved with those relationships so that we can understand their needs and then that we can help offer a solution. And we're finding that it's really accelerating the interest in doing this, that, because our customers, they're wanting to focus on things they would never outsource, like innovation. And maybe supply chain optimization or supply chain resilience is not something they're as strong in, and we are.
And I'm seeing that more and more with specialty organizations like Flex, like TMG, as they're looking at it going, we've always done it this way, and we're not able to break through this barrier we have. And sometimes it's talent, sometimes it's a playbook, sometimes it's It's easy for an executive to say, listen, I'm going to go outside of our normal channels, and I'm going to bring in these resident experts to have a new perspective on this. And I love to see that in the CDMO world for you. So what should we be looking for over the next 12 to 24 months out of Flex that would be a real benefit to medtech, emerging tech companies, all the way up to the strategics?
Yeah, look, thinking about the big picture, what is uniquely differentiating with Flex, I would say, in this contract design and manufacturing world, we're an EMS company at our foundation. Obviously, we can offer anything that has a chip in it, we can help you. But we are EMS plus products plus services. And that's really where the differentiating is. So look, our customers are telling us they don't want to work with 4,000 suppliers, that they really want to speak with or work with a few very strategic advisors who can offer end-to-end value. So for us, and where we are really leaning in, is design work. How can we help you design products for the future, but then design into manufacturing? Because that's really where the longer term value comes. If you design it up front, where you can think about the life cycle and how will you one day be able to change components, that's really huge for a company to save costs down the road. And then when you add design plus manufacturing, and then you add the value-added services on the end, things like circular economy, things like kitting. I mean, all of these values, it matters, and our customers care too, right? Because the sustainability trend, there's certain tenders you won't even be able to be part of unless you have a sustainability solution, and we can help you with that from our packaging perspective, from, again, refurbishment and repair. So that's where Flex, I think, is really going to stand out. It's where I'm leaning in significantly. Pretty exciting opportunity, and I think there's a lot of unmet need where a company like ours can really help our customers win and delight their ultimate customers and patients.
And I love to see executive leadership from the OEM world come in to bring their perspective into the CDMO world. I think it's great for everybody across the board. Well, I appreciate your time taking it out here in Toronto, and I hope to chat with you soon.
No, thank you, appreciate the time.
Thank you. I'm Jim Mullings from the floor of the MedTech Conference in Toronto. Be well.